Spy Kids 3D. This is a video that I've wanted to make for a while. I loved these movies when I was a kid. The second one, Island of Lost Dreams, is by far the best one. At least, that's what my memory tells me, and I'm not letting my nostalgia get ruined like I did with this one by going back and watching it again.
Yeah, it justifies the means.
So, we'll just have to take my memory at face value. I remember being 11 at the time Spy Kids 3D came out. And I was at that weird age where I really enjoyed the first two movies, but this one came out and I'm 11. So maybe I'm too cool to go see this movie now. Regardless, I partially ignored the cool kid in me by going and seeing this on like a Wednesday matinee showing. So there was hardly anybody in the theater, so I got to see it, but still got to like play it up that I was still like too cool to go see it. In my defense, what else was I going to go see that week? Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life, or Seabiscuit?
Pull over and park the car. Is that the frickin' horse from horsing around?
I haven't seen this since I watched it in the theaters when it was released. All I remember was this was my first big 3D movie, and you had to wear the red and blue lens, paper, cardboard glasses that would cut your ears if you got a really crappy pair of them.
Not great, Bob.
All I remember was it was very 3D, and I left very whelmed. My too cool for this movie vibes were sadly justified. Or were they? Well, that explains a lot about the shittier chapters of the Book of Boba Fett. Rimshot aside, I like Robert Rodriguez, but I would like him more if he finally gave us Machete in Space.
Agua, as in water.
That's literally the first line of the movie. Off to a banger start.
Now I'm a private detective, a PI, a private eye, a gumshoe. I know why the water from your park is missing.
Pray tell.
That's Selena Gomez? Holy crap, this cast is loaded. Side note, when I looked the cast up, I also found out some parents are Googling how to spy my child phone. So after that cameo, the plot of the movie kind of starts to get rolling a little bit. Junie hops in line to get
My copy of the biggest virtual reality game in history.
that is until he sees the saddest dude ever cleaning the window in front of a charity. And to sell the sadness, of course this poor dude is in a wheelchair. Just the look of absolute disgust that this man has for these line of sweat lords waiting to get their frickin' brand new game. Bunch of punk ass kids not being charitable. How dare they? However, Junie is feeling surprisingly charitable. That is, until he hears about the endgame rewards.
Untold riches, toys, and prizes beyond your wildest dreams.
Then he's totally out. Out on the charity and out of his spot in line.
End of the line.
I also love how there were like 15 people in line 2 minutes ago, and now it's 150 people deep. Now Junie is back in his office, fresh off of biffing it on the sidewalk, when he gets a visit from Gertie Giggles. Oh my gosh, I forgot how ridiculous some of these names are. So they're just having a conversation when Junie drops this line.
The only tribe worth belonging to is the one that you're born into.
Damn, put that shit on a motivational poster. They do pull a 180 and immediately deliver this line.
But remember one thing. Everyone's your family.
That makes no sense.
I also love that this wall of blank CDs is art, apparently.
Terry, you got the movies on CDs or?
CDs.
I've got them
He's
in
nuts.
3
Mr. President?
Your sister's missing.
Holy shit, that's a picture of my sister, and she's missing. I'll be right there. So now Junie needs to get filled in on what his mission is.
What do you know about a video game called Game Over?
I know that it's on V-Box. And I think this part of the movie is a strong combination of can't be bothered to explain, but also tongue-in-cheek with the spy movies that it's a parody of.
The toy maker hates us for imprisoning him in cyberspace all these years.
What made you do that?
Who knows? It was years ago.
I feel like Robert Rodriguez looked at this part of the script and said, this movie is for kids, this is kind of boring, and if I'm being totally honest, I've been playing with action figures for the last 20 minutes thinking of my next fight scene, and it's too boring for me.
Put on these glasses, and you'll enter the world of the game.
I love that the 3D glasses have to be worn in the movie to access the game. And also, it's a good thing that they do that, because I probably wouldn't know that I should put mine on.
Computer generated.
I hate it. I hate it.
Low res.
That line had to be edited in post. I just love the low res. It's just so stupid. This movie's filled with good shit like that.
Carmen, can you hear me? It's Judy.
Admittedly, I forgot about the telepathy from the last movie, so I had like a third of a page just memeing on how ridiculous it is, which it still is pretty ridiculous, but it's canon, so I won't meme on it that hard.
New player, huh?
Yeah. Oh, new player.
That was a nice little look into what Destiny LFG is like.
You fell 3 stories.
What happened to my 12 hours? I only have 4 now.
So he just lost all that time going full jabroni with the
Pogo toes.
and now he's supposed to learn how to play the game, find Carmen, and do it all in 4.5 hours? Seems a little unrealistic to me. After discovering that he's blown through about 7.5 hours, the Respawn bot zerps him up on a Windows XP home screen where he meets some
Beta testers.
One of the first allowed to roam free these coveted digital hills, my friend.
God, what a line.
I'm Rez.
Hi, Rez.
Dude, come on. Oh my gosh, some of these lines are just, they're so bad.
Hit it, you'll bounce straight to the moon.
A message from the OSS. Do you accept?
Mm-hmm.
It's such a little thing, but why does that, have to be edited in post? I don't understand. So, as a tribute to Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, Junie gets to phone a friend.
You get to bring in any one person from the outside to help you on your journey.
So Junie gets a look at his options, and then we get this.
Pros, superior intellect. Cons, physically disabled.
Oh, holy shit. Oh, no. I won't lie, as soon as I was watching the movie and I heard that line, that, like, the whole reason I wanted to make this video. Like, that has to be out there.
He's been paralyzed from the waist down for 30 years. His energy force would have doubled back again, making his arms, his heart, his brain twice as strong as a normal person.
I don't think that's an exact science, but for the sake of my immersion, I'll buy it.
The toy maker is here?
You know him?
I've been hunting him down for 30 years, Junie.
30 years? You're telling me with all that time with his extra energy force, he wouldn't find out where the toy maker was hiding? Now I'm not buying it. So after Grandpa gets his Mega Legs power up and starts chasing a butterfly, Junie wanders into Pacific Rim, which I'm told was directly influenced by this film.
A courageous new contestant! Welcome to the RoboCon!
I need to get to level 2.
Well, you came to the wrong place.
Fun fact, Long-Fingered Kid, actual credit, is this dude in Top Gun Maverick. Humble beginnings.
Hi.
I can certainly appreciate this as somebody that grew up playing sports games. Someone's face put on a
Low res.
audience member was definitely a throwback for me. This part always bothered me. Junie gets yeeted from the earth, crashes on the moon, and loses 1 life. Demetra runs into a wall and loses 2. If the toy maker wants any replayability out of this game, he's gonna have to tighten it up with the consistency here. So Junie wins with 0 previous experience because protagonist. And then goes on to sing the opening vocals for Pump It.
Keep the suit.
After some back and forth about whether or not Junie is the guy,
The guy.
You're the guy.
I'm the who?
The guy. The guy from the poster. According to the tech manual, if we find the guy,
and a pretty tame race,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
it's time to go find Carmen on level 4.
I have to go talk to my grandfather,
To who?
the Wizard of Atari, Sega, Nintendo.
It wouldn't surprise me if they couldn't say Nintendo here. It's probably just a bad line read, but in my headcanon, Nintendo called them and said that they didn't want to be part of this movie, so they had to shorten to Nendo. After winning the race, Junie proves to everyone that he's the guy.
I hear you're the guy.
I am definitely the guy. Yeah!
And now the squad is fully behind him and ready to take on level 3.
With my strength.
My brains.
My cool.
My intuition.
And my axe.
The gang is en route to level 3 when they run into some programmers.
Level
1.
You can't scare us. He's the guy. Grandpa!
Listen to that, A-Dog.
E-Dog. Oh my gosh. You hear that, E-Dog?
We'll grant the boy a gift. The gift of life.
What the hell was that high five? And look at, like, after after the high five is over, watch Stallone, like, put his arm down by his side. Oh my gosh, I didn't even notice that until I watched it this time. And when I saw that high five, all I could think of was this from Archer.
Clown!
The gang starts making their way to level 3 when they stumble into a health pack.
I got extra life, Demetra.
Wow.
Junie gives it to Demetra as a move, which the squad strongly approves of. I'm going to give a TLDR of level 3, after this line right here.
What are you doing in the game, Arnold?
This movie just keeps on giving. The look on Junie's face, how matter-of-factly he asks the question, and the dumbass question itself, it kills me every time. For the first time in the whole movie, Arnold is not trying to beat the shit out of Junie. So he starts talking about his family and how he's trying to help save him from poverty. So something in the next few minutes is going to involve him. Because of course. Level 3 basically culminates in a 1v1 between Junie and Arnold, and Junie gets beat within half a life because he's overmatched like he's been the whole movie. Remember when Junie gave up his health to Demetra? So before Junie gets eliminated, Demetra tags herself in, takes one swing at Arnold, if you can call that a swing, and gets eliminated, which saves Junie, but I'm just hung up on the fact that she took the health pack. Like, if she was gonna sacrifice herself to save Junie, why take the health pack? It's just wasteful.
We never even got an email address.
Don't fall in love with the game, Junie.
That's gonna be an awkward conversation with some people. So after the 1v1, they get to level 4 and finally find Carmen.
My feet stink.
Then we get treated to some of the best CGI and green screen running that I have ever seen. There's a lot to unpack here. This might be the worst CGI I've ever seen in a movie, and it's probably right up there with Scorpion King for just dog shit CGI. It just gets better the longer you watch it.
Rip that wave, Junie.
Rip that wave, Junie.
Check if there's a connection between the grandfather and the toy maker.
Comrades turned enemies.
How would the OSS not know this, but Carmen does?
The toy maker's the guy who put Grandpa in the wheelchair 30 years ago.
They've been monitoring Junie the whole time. They wouldn't hear him or Carmen or Grandpa talking about this the whole time. I can accept surfing on lava, but this is a bit of a stretch for me. I can't accept lazy writing.
We have to create obstacles for them. Come on.
We have to drown them.
Take it easy.
So if they can make additions to the game, why not help Junie get to level 5 sooner? With help from the toy maker, the gang washes up on level 5.
He's not the guy. I'm the guy.
I totally forgot that Frodo was the guy. I told you this cast was loaded. Also, fun fact, this movie came out in theaters 2 months after Return of the King. Talk about adding to your resume.
Stand aside. Cake.
His cameo is short-lived, though.
Oops.
After Frodo gets zerped back to the Shire, we find out that Demetra is a big old phony, and that them ending up at level 5 was a trap. But even with the game crumbling down around them, the group makes it out alive and wins the day.
I'm coming back to settle the score for imprisoning me, for using me.
If I'm being 100% honest, Clooney's impression of Stallone did make me laugh pretty hard there.
Earthquake! Tornado! Hurricane!
I love this guy just listing off every natural disaster he can think of.
Tornado!
So all the toy makers stuff gets freaking leaked out into the real world, and we got a battle with giant monkeys here, and an Avenger-style team-up of family and not family and people from past movies. That's the last 10 minutes of the film.
Somebody ring the dingster!
Best part of the whole movie right there.
Random, Daddy.
Thanks, little dink.
Okay, I stand corrected.
Grandpa, no!
Rudy, let him go. Your grandfather has to do this.
I might have to give third best part to the rocket-propelled wheelchair.
Tell you that I forgive you.
I've only dreamed I would hear you say something like that.
That's a good lesson on forgiveness for a kid's movie. So after all that, they get everybody in the movie around in a huddle to do like a cheer to family. Something that Vin Diesel is probably his biggest career regret, not being in that huddle to family.
There's always room for family.
And then the movie's over. It's like, is the toy maker not going to go to prison? That's it? It's just over? They just and break. And it's over.
And break!
Okay. Yikes. So that's pretty much it. Not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's definitely not the best. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be very much appreciated. And if you didn't enjoy it, your 3D glasses are in the mail. I will be live streaming here on YouTube this week, so if you're into seeing me scared shitless... Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Or you're into seeing me not be able to solve puzzles, loving the voiceover, thanks. Better than, man, your voice sucks. I'd rather just read it. Feel free to tune in. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace out, everybody. How can I repair it if you're just gonna blow me up? What do you mean it's gonna explode?